Yeah, there, Rosalind. Hey there, Donna. Good to see you again. All right, y'all. So today we're going to be going over ZipForms templates. So if you do want to, I'm not sure with CCAR, but I know with MetroText, you can get to ZipForms through your MLS login. So if y'all do want to pull up your MLS logins, whether that's MetroText or CCAR, I'm still not sure, or if y'all use both in your office. But feel free to pull that up if you do want to, if you want to kind of work with me and walk through it together, just so it's less me talking to you and you can answer questions as we go. Feel free to do so if you want to. But I know that at least you can get there through MetroText, through Netris.
No, I have.
Right. We'll give it a couple more minutes here before we get started. Get Mark in here. And feel free to unmute for this one. Have y'all used, I'm still trying to gauge how much, or do you even know anything about ZipForms? Have y'all ever used it? Have y'all always used DocuSign or .loop? I'm just trying to kind of gauge out what your experience is, if y'all have had any with it.
I've never used it. I've always used .loop and
okay,
never used this one.
Okay, gotcha. And by
Clark,
the way, there's yes.
Just a reminder, it looks like Danielle from Sold in a Snap is on the call.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that reminder.
Thank you.
All right, I'll give it over to you, Danielle, if you want to start up and give your little spiel. We'll be good to go.
Sure, awesome. Thanks for having me, you guys. My camera keeps dropping in and out, so hopefully you can see me. I love to come present to you guys and bring you lunch. Unfortunately, we don't get to do that today. But I just wanted to give you just a couple of things. So obviously marketing has changed, in this past little bit, and it's a lot more online. So I just wanted to give a brief reminder that obviously we offer photography for your real estate listings, but also headshots and things like that. But we also offer Matterport 3D tours. We do cinematic videos. So if you want to take it to the next level and really show the houses more in depth, then we do offer that as well. And I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that you can call us or go online and book everything all in one place, and we come out and get it all done in one time. So the Matterport has had a really high demand, so that may have to be a second appointment, but pretty much most of the time we're able to do it at the same time. So anyway, that's it. I just want to let you guys know that that's available. And we like to support you guys in your businesses so that you can continue going through this changing times. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Danielle. If y'all have any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves real quick before Danielle needs to go or anything. I'm not sure what all you got going on, but feel free to unmute real quick if y'all do have any questions. Get Mike in here real quick. We've still got a few people popping on.
Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So if you want to just go to soldinasnap.com, you'll find us there.
Perfect. Thank you,
Thanks.
Danielle. Appreciate that.
Yep.
So back on ZipForms. ZipForms really is just preferential, just to be upfront and clear. It is not the superior thing to DocuSign or anything like that. It's not better than anything. I think, we've got .loop, DocuSign, and ZipForms. I think they're all on the same level. It's just preferentially what you like to use yourself. So we'll go ahead and get started now. We're about 5 minutes in, and I want to be cognizant of your time. So we will go ahead and get started here. So we're not going to start in Command. I was just helping out Julia, teaching a class with her. So that's why we had that. Okay, perfect. So like I said, I'm not sure if y'all use MetroText or if you use CCAR. Oh, and it said no. It said no. Let's see. How about now? Let's try it again. There we go. So for me, I can just log into my MLS right here. And then on the right side of the page for me, so this is in MetroText. For me, I have an external links, and I can go over here to ZipForm login. So if y'all are using MetroText, that's how you can get to ZipForm. So when you click on that link, it pulls up zipformonline.com, okay, which is the same thing that I have right there. So if you click on it and go in that way, it'll take you in to create an account if you have not or need to. So you would go in and create an account that way, or instead of using the MLS, because I'm gonna just bypass that, because I've already created an account, I'm just going to zipformplus.com, okay? So again, you can go in through your MLS. For me, it's over here in the external links section, ZipForm login. Or for me, I just go to ZipForm Plus at this point. Also, you can bookmark as well if you want to do that. And let's see, less distracting. Perfect. All right. So when we log in here, obviously this is going to look very different and very new to y'all if you have not gotten in here before. So just to take y'all around real quick, the only places that we're going to be in here for the purpose of this, we're just going to be either in the transactions tab right here or the templates tab right here. Dashboard, I never have gone on it. I don't use it. I'm clearly not writing all of my paperwork in here. It says quarterly sales are 0. So I'm doing all of my paperwork really through DocuSign and everything like that. But if you do want to set up your templates, rather, not transactions, your templates in a different way, we can do it here. So the transactions here, this is what we're going to need to create before we go over to DocuSign, but that's going to be our last step. So once we go to zipformplus.com, we're just going to go over to templates, okay? And when we go to templates, I have buyer forms here because I created this. But what we're going to do, we're going to act like that's not there. Let me get Yolanda in here real quick. So we're going to go to new right now, and I'm just going to create this as a test. And on this, again, over here on the left side, so we went to zipforms.com, templates, new on the top left. We're creating a new template form. I like to just have a buyer side and a listing side for the starter paperwork. You know, your IABS, your buyer rep, your listing agreement, general info, you know, paperwork required by the office, and then also a contract one as well, if you do want to go this route. So for this one, we're going to set up buyer templates today, and just say that you've just met a buyer and you need to get them going. So we're going to go through, we're going to create the opportunity, we're going to pull up the templates and the paperwork over in Command. So we're going to go from start to finish on this, okay? So I hit new, and because this is a buyer, not a listing, we're going to do new purchase or offer. And now you can see what we're going to name this template. So right here, I called this one buyer forms. For the sake of this today, I'm just going to call this test buyer forms. So I'm just putting test in there for my own knowledge. This will be residential. You always have to select that. I always just select residential. And then we're not applying any templates because we are creating them. So you would select right here if we did want to apply any templates. We do not right now because we're going to create them here. So we'll hit save. And once we hit save, also, I want to point this out real quick before we go any further. You'll notice I have a back to list, kind of a green rectangular button right here. And then I have the back button for the browser. Do not hit the back button to the browser. That will take you out of the website. And I don't know what it is about ZipForms. It doesn't like that button. That's why they have their own. So whenever you hit back to list, that will take you back inside of ZipForms. Okay, so if you ever need to go back somewhere, hit the back button. So see, here's our test buyer forms. That's what we're working with. So we're going to click back in there. Now, let's just say we're going to pull in the IABS, the disclosure of relationship with a residential service company, a buyer rep, and a general information. Okay, so once again, we're now in the folder for the templates, and we're going to add our templates. So all of our buyer templates. So we're going to go to add doc over here, top left, add doc right here. We're going to click on that. And you always, 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 always want to select add form. If you do not, whenever we pull this in to DocuSign later and try to get it for signatures, it will not pull in any of the boxes. So like when it auto puts in all your text boxes, your initials, your signatures, it's not going to do any of that if you browse for a document. You have to do add form, okay? And when we do add form, we're going to select, just like on command, we're going to select the Texas Realtors folder for pulling in our documents.
Clark,
So, yes.
sorry, repeat. What did you say if we do something, it won't pull the signatures? Just the last thing you said.
The last thing I said. Sorry, I'm running and gunning here, but I was saying when you're adding a document, on the top left, you have to click add form. This top right one, do not browse for document, add form, okay? Because that's when it's pulling in the DocuSign forms, when it's pulling in all of these different things for you as a template, you know, to save you time when we're going through this. It won't pull any of that in if you browse for a document. It must be a form, okay?
Oh, okay, got it, thank you.
So just wanna make sure y'all all know, use forms when you're here in ZipForms. That should be easy enough to know. It's most of the name. So we'll start with our IABS, or information about broker services. Now you'll see that there's two of them right here. And here, I'll pull it. There we go. So now it's just both IABS, so see, obviously easier. It's not pulling up the full name for me. I could if I needed to, but, oh, sorry. Did mean to click there, add form. Okay. But you see two IABSs. You can see there's a B at the end of the first one and then an SE at the end of the second one. You can add both, but this one is for buyers, this one is for sellers. So ZipForms may break it down that way because, and really on an IABS, the only thing that changes is where it says buyer, seller, landlord initials. It may not even matter, but just keep in mind there may be a buyer form of that and a seller as well. So just keep a lookout for that. We're also going to do our relationship, disclosure of relationship. We're going to use that, and we're also going to use the representation. Let's see, representation. Let's see, buyer. There it is, residential. So also another thing, ZipForms is a little finicky about the way that the forms are written out here in the library. You have to type it exactly. So if right here, if you see right above the blue highlight where I am, the next one above it, info and prop insurance for a buyer. If I type in the word info or information rather, I'm not going to get anything there for that specific one. But if I typed in info with a period, it would pop up. So just to show that to you, info period pulls up everything with info period in it. Okay, so just keep an eye out for which ones that you're grabbing as you're doing it. So for this one, we still do need the buyer rep. Let's see. Oh, too many. So we've got our residential buyer tenant rep agreement down here. So the reason I brought that up is I could have just typed in RESID period, and then it would have popped up right here. So buyer tenant rep agreement. And then lastly, we'll do the general info and notice to buyers and sellers. Get Rusty on here real quick. All right, so now we've got all four forms. We're happy. We're good. Pardon me, we're good to go. So now we've got the blank documents in here. So we are going to create our templates here, okay? So let's just start out with the IABS. All right, and I'm going to speed through this part because I printed off mine, and it's also autofilling because I've written these in before. So the nice thing about this is if you have, it'll populate everything here for you. So I'm just going to go through and select my phone numbers and everything here real quick. I want y'all to see a fully filled out form for all of these so it looks like it will for you. So I'm just going to get all of my info in here. Feel free to pop up with any questions right now if you have any while I'm writing away. My info, perfect. Perfect. So there's all my info. So I've got a filled out IABS. Okay. On every single form, once you're going through this, as you're filling out, make sure you hit the save button right here. Okay. It's easy to miss it because it's right above or under the back button. Do not just hit back. You're going to lose everything you just typed in. Hit save. It will say saved. And now you see how it's grayed out. The save button is now grayed out. It's not as clear as the rest of these. That tells you that you have saved. So if you're ever wondering if you have saved recently or since you've changed something, you can look up there and see that, okay? So we have saved the IABS now. We're good to go. So I'm going to hit back. Let's do our RRS real quick. So for our office, American Home Shield receives data collection and fulfillment. Perfect. And we've got, because we're on the buy side, that's why it's on the left side of the page. Obviously, if we were a listing, we'd be on the right side doing the listing information. So we've got Keller Williams Realty. Oh, perfect. So it's still pulling in all of our different stuff. Let's see. License number is 0495442. So see, it is nice if you've written in these before. Obviously, we're going to leave all the clients blank because we don't know who these clients are going to be at this time. So we're done with this one. We're going to hit save. So let's do the buyer tenant rep real quick. So client's going to be not there, obviously. We don't know any of their information, but we do know my office address at the very least. So put that in there. And again, this is only pre-filling because I've done this before. Okay, so you're going to need to type all this out when you do it yourself, if you do. All right, so we've got that in there. We'll put my phone number. Let's see. We're not going to the market area yet. It could vary by the client. Term will vary. That we don't know who it's going to be between yet. And we don't believe or know of anything. I'm going to assume we're going to be good with intermediary on all these. This can be changed as well whenever I'm filling it out. So even if I set up my template as intermediary and I have a client that doesn't want to do that, we can change that. We'll just put NA because usually I do. I'm not working with a lot of reload, but if I do, I can change that. Obviously, we're going to want to make sure we're getting our 3% commission, or I put 50% of the month's rent. New construction. Now this part, I don't know how many people do this, and this was something that they taught me, I think back in Ignite, this from a long, long time ago. Here, let me see the exact verbiage to make sure I get it for you. So here in the little new construction section, I put this on every one of mine because it doesn't hurt. 3% of sales price plus any applicable realtor bonuses. I like to put that in there because if I ever did, you know, work with a new build or do a new construction deal with some buyers and they had applicable realtor bonuses and then they wanted to get finicky with me about, well, or, you know, do you have that written down anywhere that you're supposed to get that? I can say yes, you know, because I already have my buyer rep signed that, you know, whatever bonus, that 4%, you know, whatever you're selling this new construction home as, I want that bonus as well. So just keeps you covered to make sure you're getting all of the money that you deserve on these transactions, especially those new builds. Get our protection period in there. My office in Tarrant, so all payments in Tarrant County. We're going to always be sending the general information anyway, so we'll check that. We'll leave special provisions blank. This will always be as an authorized agent of the broker for my signature. Obviously, we don't know the date, so we're good there. Right, and let's fill out our gen info, and then we can move on and get to the fun stuff. Let's see here. Yep, gen info, nothing for us to fill out, which is nice. So I just need to put in my name, and then the signature will go right there when it does. All right, so now that is the creation of our templates. So see, obviously I breezed through that because I've created these, so it was a lot of just drop down boxes instead of typing in and looking for information, especially on that IABS. But see, just in about 10, you know, but it could take you maybe up to 30 minutes. I sat here and I made all of these templates, okay? So now that my templates are created, we're going to move on so that I can show y'all the rest of this. So let me get Yolanda in here. All right, so again, we've got the templates and we've got the transactions, okay? Templates is where we're creating these. So again, I hit back to list. Imagine that one's not there. That's my real one. But here, this is our test one that we created. So imagine this is the only one you see. You would also have listing forms and contract forms as well. You know, so you could put in, you know, on a 1 to 4 family contract, the things on there that need to be filled out for your info, you could have all that in there. So anyway, now that our template is created, I'm going to go over to Command so that I can make a link and kind of help y'all understand the connections here, okay? Feel free to unmute, ask any questions right now. If you do have any, I'm going to jump over to Command now for a minute and go into Opportunities and show y'all how we pull up the templates, okay? So we're going to jump on over, again, agent.kw.com for Command, of course, and we're going to go down to Opportunities.
Before you, how did
Yes.
you get back to list? Do I just hit the back button? Or?
No. So back to list will pop up. So see, I'm going to click here on my template folder right here. I'm going to click on that. It will pop up on the page.
Okay, mine just says back. I saved the document and it's only saying back up on the top left-hand side.
Does it look like a rectangle like this or no?
Yes, it's the same color, but it just doesn't
Okay.
get back to list.
Okay, so maybe it, okay, so try clicking that and try clicking back in to see if
Okay.
it saved everything. If it did, you're good.
Yes, okay, yes, it's saved.
Perfect. Okay, so
now
maybe it's just different verbiage. I'm not sure. That's interesting. I haven't heard of that before, but okay, well, glad it's saved for you. That's good.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So back on Command, we're going to Opportunities. I did create one last night, my ZipForm buyer, you know, tester, but we'll just create a new opportunity for the sake of this. Let's say we're starting over from scratch. It's a brand new buyer, okay? So I'm going to create an opportunity and we're going to make this a buyer opportunity. We'll make the client my good friend, Mr. Fake One. And we'll do Fake One Buyer will be the name for this one. And no tags, nothing like that. We're good to go. All right, so we'll go ahead. Oh, commission rate 3%. And we'll create it. No info to put in here. Obviously, it's a buyer for this one. We're not going to know the property, so nothing to worry about there. So now we can go over to Documents, and we're going to go ahead and start this transaction, okay? So we can go in to get into DocuSign Rooms. And the reason, by the way, this is pulling up, asking who buyer agent 1 and 2 is, I'm on a team. So Chip is our team lead, my father, but he's not a part of this deal. I am buyer agent 1. So we're going to confirm and sync. If you didn't get that, no worries. I'm just letting you know why I had it if you don't. So now we're here in DocuSign Rooms, okay? Now, if y'all remember from my first class, Prep to Get Paid, and then also my DocuSign Templates class, you always want to go, when you get into the rooms here, you always want to go to the Details tab first. We're going to fill out the pertinent information there so that it auto-populates everything else for us. So it makes our lives just super, super easy here. So again, it pulled me into the Documents page here. I'm going to go over to Details and click Edit on the top right. Again, we're working with a buyer, so we don't know any of the seller's information. We've got Fake Buyer 1. Put in his phone number. I like to have my dashes. And fake1@gmail. Perfect. So that's his info. We'll get a second buyer in here. Phone number. Perfect. All right, got their emails. All right, let's get my info in there real quick. All right, so I put in phone number, email, and name for both buyers and myself. That's all I've done, okay? So I'm gonna click Save down here. Yes?
Sorry, Clark, how did you get to that page? I missed
Yes,
this.
so I'll hit Save real quick before I lose that.
Okay.
So I was here in Command, okay? So Opportunities. I hit Create because I was creating this opportunity, but now I can just go back into it. So let's see, this was Fake One Buyer right here. And then once I was in the opportunity here, I went to Documents. Okay, so up here
Okay.
on these big
Let
middle
me,
bars.
let me get to that. So how did you see everything as a list instead of cards?
I hit all opportunities whenever right here. So at the, when you click on the opportunities tab,
Oh, I
you
see.
can see all of your graphs, all your colorful. I just click all opportunities. I like the list view better.
Oh, okay, got that. Okay, so you went to
Now
details.
yeah, so details is where it pulls you in. Now we're going to go to the right to documents right here where I'm hovering over and circling. So you see
Okay.
documents.
Okay.
And when we click on that, you see we have a go to transaction button. And that's what we're going to click over here on the top right.
Thank you.
Yep, sure thing. So that's how we get over to DocuSign Rooms. So I'm not going to click it because I already did, and we're up here doing our work. Let's get in here real quick. All right. So we've filled out our details. So I just want to make sure before I leave the page, we've got our buyer's name, email, phone number. We've got mine as well. Perfect. All right. So now we can go back to documents. Okay, now what I'm going to do right now is going to be for a learning purpose. Okay, what I'm going to show you right now is not the way to do it. Okay, I'm showing you the way to not do it first, and so that you understand the why on why it doesn't work. So if I wanted to use these templates right now, I would click, you know, you would think, so let me back up here. Back to DocuSign templates real quick. Remember, we bypassed the documents tab and we just went to envelopes. If you remember that, we just went into envelopes straight away. For ZipForms templates, we're actually just going to stay in documents, like we're pulling in all brand new documents that are blank. Okay, so you only go straight away to envelopes if you're using templates in DocuSign. Okay, but for ZipForms, we're going to pull from documents. So what you would think you would do, let me put it to you this way. What you would think you would do is you would hit add and hit ZipForm, and then you would just pull up whichever one that it was, right? You just pull up your forms. Well, remember back in ZipForms, there were two tabs we played with. There was templates, which is where we created this, but then there's transactions. Transactions are just like loops or opportunities in either DocuSign or .loop, okay? So this is what a loop or an opportunity is. See, this goes back to me starting back out in 2016, my miscellaneous lease forms for Mr. Brown back in the day. So what I'm getting at here is when you click in, when you're in DocuSign Rooms here in Opportunities, when you clicked on Add and ZipForm, it only pulled up your transactions, okay? So what I'm getting at here is the last step after creating the templates is you're gonna need to go to Transactions. So this would be before you go to Command, ideally. And you're gonna hit New. So just like we created a new folder for the template, we're gonna create, and all we're doing is creating it in here. We're creating a new purchase or offer. And we'll call this one Mr. Fake Buyer 1. And it's residential. And remember earlier, we did not click selected template. Well, now we are. And we're selecting a template to pull in automatically into this little folder here, okay? So again, I named it residential, active. And then for templates, I'm selecting my test buyer forms, the one I created with y'all this morning, not the one I did earlier. So I'm selecting that template, and when I hit save, and we go over here to documents, so summary right here, documents, you see all 4 of our documents as we filled them out earlier. So just to double check, I'm clicking into these to see and make sure everything looks good. All my paperwork is filled out. That's great. And now you can see real quick, if we go back into Rooms and I click refresh, remember we didn't have a client folder created in ZipForms yet a minute ago. Now we do. And now when we come in here, we can actually pull in the templates. So we'll click Add, and again, we'll do ZipForm. But now, if we scroll down, we've got Mr. Fake Buyer 1 right there. You see that? Fake Buyer 1 was not there at first. I just had to create him in ZipForms, okay? So if you say you're, 10 transactions in of using these templates, 6 months down the road, you actually don't need to go into ZipForms at all for any of these transactions except to start the transaction. So I'll click back to list. So again, the only reason you need to come into ZipForms after creating the templates are either to update or edit the templates over here in templates, or if you're just making the transaction like Fake Buyer 1 right here, okay? So that's what I really like about it, is you can create and then stay away from ZipForms, which is nice. So I'm gonna select, we're gonna pull in the paperwork for Mr. Fake Buyer 1. So we're going to link those two, not create. We're going to link them because I already created it. We can just mesh them together like a chain. And when I click link, we're going to link from the linked transaction. So not the ZipForm library. ZipForm library would undo everything. It would pull in blank documents. We're linking this transaction because we created our templates already in ZipForms. And then we can just select all. Okay, so linked transaction and select all. See, it pulled in all of my forms that I created with y'all earlier. And you'll also know that you're dealing with a ZipForms form and or template because right here, I'll zoom in on my screen. It says ZFX for those specific forms. A ZipForm file or form is a ZFX over here. It'll have that little icon there for you, okay? And now I can click in, say I was hesitant and wasn't sure. I wanna make sure my IABS and everything looks good. When we click into there, it'll pull up and we'll see, great, all of our information is in there. So if there's anything we needed to add in or edit, we could do so here. See, I can type in just like I did on the template creation side of things. And see, it also still pulls in all of these tabs as well, which is nice. And you can save here as well. That's the other thing here. If you did add anything onto the template or the paperwork before sending for signatures, you have to click save. You can't just click X or get out of it. I made that mistake playing around with this the first time. I filled this and, you know, I added in a few things here and there. Like here, I'll give you a better example. See, you've made changes to this form without saving. Return to the form and select save, which is where we could have done it, or continue. I'm going to continue because I didn't change anything. But for this buyer rep right here, pull that one up. All right, perfect. So you can see on here, say we needed to write in. So for this specific client, I know that he's shopping in Tarrant and Denton counties. We're going to be starting this today, and we're going to have a 6-month buyer rep. So select that, 23rd. Let's see what else. I'm waiting to see, I'm trying to remember here if it will pull in the client's info from details when we go to the next step, and I believe it will. I'm just writing this in right now. So let's see. Yeah, it doesn't have anything right there. So yeah, it will fill that in here in a minute. Let's see, we've got commissions, new construction. We've got no special provisions on this specific one. All right, so, oh, I see here, I did not, I just realized that on the buyer rep on this one, I did not write my name down there, so I would have to type that every time or edit the template. All right, so I'm happy with that. I click save. It says saved. I did save, which see, it said I didn't save, but it did. Let's just making sure all my forms look good real quick before I move on. RRS looking good. All right, so I'm going to continue, and then gen info should just be their names at the bottom. Yep, perfect. No other, NA for this one. All right, so I'll click that save button. Perfect. Okay. So now let's go ahead and select all these. And let's say we wrote in everything that we needed to, and we were ready to send these off for signatures, okay? So I selected all of them, you know, on that top left little blue check mark. And then here where it popped up, this bar wasn't here before, it pops up when you select a document. We're gonna click the pen icon here in the middle for DocuSign. All right, so envelope name, we'll say buyer consultation documents. I'm just copying and pasting that to make it my email subject. Let me know if you have any questions. Perfect. All right, so this is also something that's going to be very important. Remember earlier on ZipForms when we were adding the templates? So I'll do it again real quick. When we added a document, we did it as a form. If you remember that, we added as a form. Well, this is the second part of that that comes into play that you need to pay attention to. When we're adding our recipients, we want to add from pre-tagged roles, okay? When we do that, you're going to see multiple buyers, multiple of you. Long story short, it's going to look like there's more people in this for signatures than there are. So there was, for the buyer here, we have a buyer 1, you know, that's Mr. Fake Buyer 1. We have buyer 2, and see, it also tells you the document that we're working on, general info for that one. This is the RRS though. So I'm selecting who these are going to go to. So just the buyers on that. The agent for the gen info is going to be me. And then we've got the buyers here. So buyer 1 and buyer 2. And the reason we're doing it this way is because it will pull in all of the fields. So you don't have to add in text boxes for them to write in. You don't have to add in anything specific. So we'll add selected. So here's what I meant. So see, we've got buyer 1, and we've also got another buyer 1. We've got broker agent, and then agent. So that's what I was getting at there to show you. You can also, obviously, you've got your numbers here. You can set signing orders. I'm just setting them all as 1s, all have to go at the same time. Yeah, we'll set those all as 1s. I don't really have a preference on these specific ones. Okay. Now it thinks I want to change everything. Okay, well, it keeps thinking I want to change it. Anyway, we'll go ahead and hit next. Error calling third party. First time I've gotten that one. Let's see. Let's hit next again. So see, sometimes if you get an error message, you just need to hit the button again. So I'd never seen that before. I just hit next again and it worked. So it's part of failing forward on this, all this technology. So I wanted to see real quick if it pulled in the client's names and everything or not. So see, it's pulling in here. So just to show you what I was talking about with it being, see, I've got a Clark Mundy that's yellow and a Clark Mundy that's also green. So that's what I was getting at, is it's going to assign y'all different colors. It's going to go to the same email addresses, like they're going to receive these both at their same email. But anyway, just wanted y'all to see kind of what I was talking about there. But see, it knew automatically to put that signature box and that date signed right there because I did it from the pre-tagged roles. Now I want to scroll down real quick and I want to see on my buyer's rep if it pre-filled their names or not. Because if not, that may have just been a hiccup on this one because it was doing it for me in the past few days. So let's see here once it loads up for me. Okay,
hey,
so see here. Yeah, what's up?
I heard you say something about pre-tag. So I've done a couple of contracts. So in order to keep from going back and forth until it's different roles and clicking there, so we can actually, within the template, it'll already be formatted with the pre-tag roles and the colors already in place on like the signature lines and the initial. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes, sir. So back on command, and then we would have gone to go to transaction. When we did that, and I'll just take us into a room real quick again to show you one more time. So say we were just going to do that document. Okay. Click the pencil for DocuSign. And then here, when I added the recipient, so what we're talking about to answer your question, I did it from pre-tagged roles. Okay. Now the thing is, you can do room participants, but you're going to have to drag all of the initial and text or the initial signature date sign boxes yourself.
That was my question. That was my question there. Yeah.
Yes. So you have to drag them yourself, but you're only going to have the one buyer, or if you have you and 2 clients, it's just going to be the 3 recipients. It's going to be buyer agent, buyer 1, buyer 2. If you go pre-tagged roles, it may have 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 of them. So, but you don't have to pull over all the stuff. So there's kind of a trade-off between each of them. So I'm glad that answers your question though. Yes, sir. So what I wanted to see really though here was that, hey, it did not pull in my client's information from details like I hoped it would. And sometimes that just happens and that's okay. So let me go back. I'm not happy here. I'm not gonna obviously send this off. Now I could, in theory, just write it in. Right here I could add text boxes and just write this in myself. I don't really want to do that though. So I'm actually gonna go back. And so we'll come back to this part here in a moment, but I'm actually just gonna exit out this whole deal. And let's see here. It's hard because I have a floating controls right here. Let me see. Okay, there, I can move it around at least. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, sometimes y'all may see a keystroke that I'm doing or something with my mouse that isn't clicking anything on y'all's end, but I'm moving something for me. So anyway, we'll just close that one out. We'll go back into the transaction now because it obviously saved our forms in there. And I want to go in, so I want to make sure the details did save. They did. Okay, so it just didn't pull over this time for some reason. So like I said, fail forward, things happen. That's okay. So I just want to make sure that I do have my client's info in here though. So I'm going to put in their information. So we've got fake buyer 1. And the thing about ZipForms as well, if there's multiple lines for clients, put them on separate lines. Don't do this, okay? And you'll see why here in a minute. If I leave it as that, I'll leave it as that for instruction's sake. Especially on the buyer's rep, when I go here for buyer tenant representation agreement between, oh, well, it has done it. There it is, the little drop down right there. Because I filled out the client and the broker, it knew to put my information in here. So when I click this drop down, now that the client's in there, it says fake buyer 1 and fake buyer 2 and Clark Mundy of Keller Williams Realty. Or if you're a stickler like me, I went to school for journalism and I was basically a grammar Nazi all through college. I don't like that and sign being in there. So this is just purely me being particular. Fake buyer 1, fake buyer 2. Now when I do it, see, I like having a comma. That's all that is, but I recommend doing it by the line there. So we've got that filled in there. That's auto-populated and it's done it at the top of every page now. So we're good to go. Awesome. Everything else filled out correctly. Perfect. We're going to hit that save button. So now I am happy and good to go back into DocuSign. Now let's see if the envelope, see, it did create. Remember, I created the envelope a minute ago. So I can go back in here to our buyer consultation envelope and I can click and view that real quick. I just want to make sure with that document. Oh, see, this one didn't update yet. So I don't want to use that one. We're going to go save and close. And we'll just start a new one because since we just updated the document, I don't want to run the risk of it not pulling in their names again. So let's just create a new envelope. Please DocuSign buyer consultation documents. Perfect. Copy and paste that. Perfect. All right. And then just to click and double check, I'm going to view this real quick, make sure my client, oh, lovely. My clients are in there. We're up there at the top of it for the representation between. So we're going to add recipient pre-tagged roles just like we did. Nothing on the seller side. So I'm going to speed through this for sake of time. Got the agent is myself. Oh, losing my light here. Sec. Here we go. Love-hate relationship with those motion detector lights. All right, and then broker agent will be myself right here. All right, we're going to add selected. This will pop in there once they do. Well, it should. Didn't do it for some reason. Let's see. Okay, so they're all saved. Let's add selected again. There we go. Huh, that's interesting. Unable to add recipient. So we've got buyer 1. Well, we've got it twice now. Let me just start this over. We'll just start this over. Got a little confused on me. All right, pre-tagged roles. They're all saved. All right, buyer. Oh, see, they're adding in a, you'll see that? I exited out of all these. So it just took a sec. I was being impatient is what the problem really was. So let me do this again now that they're all in there. Pre-tagged roles, all done. Now we just need to select all of our buyers and our agents. All right, perfect. So we'll add selected, and I'll have some patience here and wait for it to add in. And this might just be my computer. It doesn't mean that there's an issue with command. There we go. See, just took a sec there to get all of them in there. So we're good to go. We got all of our people in here. Let me know. All right. We'll have them let us know if they have any questions. We'll hit next. And now we'll be able to see. Okay, again, this has happened now twice today on the call. Error calling third party is the error message I get. I hit next again. Scroll wheel is going, means it's about to work. I'm not worried about it. So not sure what that issue is today. Oh, error calling third party twice. Let's see. Okay. All right. So we're having some issues right now with it sending off. So let's try saving and closing. And then you'll see this one. I know I didn't have a dash on it. Okay. So I'm going to select that. Let's try to send it off again now. Okay. So we've got everything saved in there. That's why we hit save. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so this is nothing. So this is, I've not experienced this before, this error message of error calling third party. I have not had this happen before, so it's live and in person for the class for y'all. Let's see, I know it's nothing with ZipForms. It has nothing to do with the form because I've been able to do this successfully many times before. So, okay, error calling third party, okay. So let's see if I save and close. I'm going to try opening up a new tab and trying to start this over real quick. Going back into my opportunity. See if I can think quick on my feet to figure out a solution for us real quick. See if we can get something working. Go to transaction, perfect. All right. And then we've got our envelopes. Please DocuSign. All right, let's see here. So I click next. Okay. Well, I have not experienced this error message before. Let's see if other people are today. I'm going to go to the Command Your Conversion Facebook group and see. For my questions, if I'm having an issue and I'm wondering if anyone else in the world is having the same issue, I go to Command Your Conversion Facebook page or group or KW Command. My computer's a little overloaded right now. It's just taking a sec. See, I may just be able to go. No, let's just go to my groups. Okay, here we go. Command Your Conversion right here. So let's see. I'm just going to scroll down and see. I just like to look at the questions. I like to look at this daily just to see if anyone's having specific issues with things. So people are asking a lot about Facebook ads and leads and things like that. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything in here. Let's check KW Command real quick and see if there's anything in there. See, that one had 32,000 members. These both have tens of thousands of members. Let's see. Okay, let me try it one more time. Error calling third party. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute and I'm going to try to clear my cache. The reason I'm going to stop sharing screen is just in case it shows any passwords or anything like that. So let's see, I have a chat real quick. Is it because it's a fake email? No, Madeline, that's not because it's a fake email. Because what it should take us to next is where we can see where all the signatures and email boxes are, things like that. Obviously, it's not letting us do that right now. So I've done it with, I literally did this yesterday with the exact same emails, the exact same everything, and it all worked yesterday. I just wanted to test it with all that information before. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing real quick. And I'm going to go clear my cache and see if that works, because I've heard that that can help as well, just in my browser settings. So let me try to do that. All right, so I just cleared my browser stuff. So let me see here, pull y'all back up now. So I just cleared my cookies and my cache. If you don't know what that means, it's not cache, it's C-A-C-H-E. If you're on Google Chrome, it's up here on the top right. You can go there and then go to settings. All right, and there were no passwords or anything, so I'm not worried about it. And then what I did is I went right here to privacy and security. Right here, clear browsing data. So the 3 dots on the top, down to settings, and then in the payment and or privacy and security rather, I just cleared the browsing data right there. Okay. So now let's see if that worked, because sometimes basically what that does is sometimes a website will hold on to just pixels or things in, you know, from your visits to their website. So I see it just sign me out. Clearing your cookies signs you out of every website that you're logged into, and clearing your cache gets rid of any files or images that may be held up. So let's see. Okay, it's wanting to 2-step verify with me. So I need to do that real quick. Get my text hopefully quickly. There we go. So I'm glad this happened to me on a class with y'all, because I get to see if this worked and it's a fix, or if it's not and there's just an issue with command today. So I want to click into here. Let's see. Okay, so we've got everything saved. That's great. So everything saved for us earlier. Now let's click next. Okay, error calling third party. So this is something with command. This is something that's going on right now today on April 23rd, 2020 at 11 a.m. almost. So I don't have a fix for this. I don't know what this is. So I'm going to go ahead and actually post in the Facebook group. And let's see. I'm going to post, let's see. I want to see which one has more members. This one is, so I want to get the most possibility of interaction and answers. Oh, see, it logged me out of Facebook, of course. Everything I wanted to be on, I'm logged out of now. All right, let's see here real quick on the members. So this one has 32,000 and command, and it can't hurt to post in both. You can do that as well. And then this one has 27,000. So it doesn't really matter. I see more conversations in this one than I do in the KW Command group. So I'm just going to go ahead and post my questions in here. And I recommend y'all do the same thing as well. If you run into anything, and even if you come to me and I don't have an answer for you, or you just want to see if someone in Facebook from, you know, somewhere else in the KW ecosystem can help you, definitely do that as well. States. Let's see, because that's the all right, so I'm just posting this. Is anyone else getting an error message that states error calling third party when trying to send an envelope for signatures? Any help would be appreciated. Thanks, y'all. So I'm going to post that, and we'll just see what I get out of this. Whenever I post the YouTube video later today, I'll hopefully have an answer, and I can maybe put that in the comments. I'm going to be posting the video every time, the YouTube link, after a class whenever we finish up. So unfortunately, I couldn't keep going today. You know, hit next one more time. Let's see if it works. Okay, just in case it did. So anyway, you would hit next, and like we did earlier, you would see all of your initials, all your signatures, everything is pre-filled where it needs to be, and you would just send off for signatures at that point. So I hope that was helpful, and just gives you another tool in your tool belt and another way of doing things. What questions do we have? I'm going to go ahead and cut the class off at this point because of technology. I can't really continue at this point. But feel free to unmute. What questions do we have? Do you want me to go back into ZipForms? Is there something you want me to click back on. Do we have any questions before I finish off? Just want to make sure I'm hearing y'all out if there's anything you do want to discuss or ask me about. Let's see, we've got some chats coming in. Okay, perfect. You're very welcome. Okay, sounds good. All right, perfect. Well, if we don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and finish the call up today here, a few minutes before 11. But as always, love helping y'all out and teaching you something new. Feel free to let me know if y'all have any questions, or if you want to message me on Facebook or reach out to me. Just let me know if there's anything I can be doing for y'all. And I will let y'all know at some point. You're very welcome. Thank y'all. What my solution or fix or figure out was on this. Because yeah, I can save and close. I'll click it one more time and try it, but I'm not having a good feeling about it. Okay, so there's just, y'all have seen this. I've done this with 3 different envelopes, multiple different times. I'm not sure what the issue is here, okay? So I'll let y'all know if I figure that out. Might just be something going on today. Let's see real quick. I want to refresh, see if we've got any Facebook answers before y'all leave. Just want to double check that real quick before we leave. And again, I said at the beginning of the call, ZipForms is just preferential. It's just whatever you want to do to have your templates and forms set up for the ease of use for you. So no answers there yet. So I will hold off and just wait to get an answer back on all of that. So I'll finish screen sharing. So as always, great talking with y'all. Hope you'll have a great rest of your day. I'll be posting about my classes moving forward later today as well. So be on the lookout for that on the Facebook page. I'll probably include that in the post for the YouTube video for this. So anyway, hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all next time, okay?